Welcome to this tutorial video presenting an introduction to joins in SQL, what they are, what they do, and how you use them. This video is intended for the beginner. Because this video is directed towards the novice, we'll begin by briefly introducing what SQL is and why you might find it useful. SQL is a kind of basic computer language that people use to interact with databases. By interact, I mean things like looking at the information in the database, adding more information to it, changing the information that's there already, and deleting information. SQL lets you do all of these things. To understand what a join is and why it's useful, you need to know the basics of how databases work. A database is much more than a huge pile of information sitting in a computer. It has to be well organized for the computer to find the information it wants, just like a dresser should be organized for you to find your clothes in the morning. Like you would put similar types of clothing together in a drawer, a database puts similar information together in a table. But in order to be more efficient, it's often useful to store related data in different tables. This lets the computer sort through a smaller amount of information and respond more quickly. Continuing with the wardrobe analogy, you can't get fully dressed with the clothing in just one drawer. Similarly, databases are a lot more useful when the computer can get data out of different tables. And this is exactly what a join allows the computer to do. It joins two or more tables of a database together so that the computer can use information from all of them. For simplicity, in this video we'll assume that only two tables are being joined. A join doesn't combine the tables permanently. It lasts just long enough for the computer to get the information it needs. To make the next leap in understanding joins, we need to change our analogy a little bit. Imagine that instead of there being one dresser, there are now two. And instead of thinking of each drawer as a table in a database, think of each dresser as one. But then, what are the drawers? Conceptually, each drawer keeps a very specific category of clothing together. For example, one for shirts, one for pants, one for socks, and so on. The analog in a database, something within a database that keeps the same very specific category of information together, is called a field. For example, a database of information on football players might have fields for players' names, their jersey number, what position they play, and how tall they are. So far this has hopefully been easily understandable. We'll now get a little more specific and technical. A join needs some way to tell it that the things in each table can be compared. The computer can't just throw the information in each table together. It has to know which field of a table corresponds to which field of the other table. Thinking of the football example again, if another table concerning games had a field listing the jersey numbers of the players who participated in each game, this table could be joined to the players table using the jersey number field, which contains the same information in both tables, so that you could find out the names of the players in each game, for instance. You would say that the players table and the games table had been joined on the jersey number field. The next, and for many most confusing part of joins, is the fact that tables can be joined in different ways. This is because the individual pieces of data in the fields on which the join is happening usually are not completely identical. That is to say, each single entry in the joined field from one table will not correspond to exactly one identical entry in the joined field from the other table. In the football example, if a player is on a team but has not been in a game, his jersey number will appear in the players table but not in the games table. When joining the tables, you would have to decide whether or not to include players like this in the temporary combined table. We'll now go over the types of joins. Here it's usually helpful to envision a Venn diagram where each circle represents a table. Which table is represented by which circle is important. You can see one is on the left and one is on the right. The table that is mentioned first in the SQL code creating the join is considered the left, with the second one mentioned being considered the right. Using our football example, we'll call the players table the left one and the games table the right one. We'll quickly go over four types of joins: an inner join, a left outer join, a right outer join, and a full outer join. An inner join returns only the information that is the same in both fields being joined, the inside of the Venn diagram. For the football example, this would be only players who are both on a team and have played in a game. A left outer join returns only the information that is included in the left table, regardless of whether or not it is included in the right table, the left circle of the Venn diagram. For the football example, this would be all players who are on a team. A right outer join returns the same thing, but for the table on the right. In our football example, this would return all players who had played in a game. A full outer join returns the results of both types of outer joins, the records that appear in one table or in the other, the entire Venn diagram. In the football example, this would again return all players. It has been the goal of this video to give a simple, understandable introduction to SQL joins suitable for the beginner. Hopefully this has helped get you grounded and you're now ready to start using SQL and playing around with databases. For an operational introduction to SQL, if you have some time and patience, we recommend the tutorials on sqlzoo.net.